Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I'm your host as usual, and I see welcome back to the show. Today's episode 159 of the show, and before we get started, I'm going to do a little bit of house cleaning quick because, well, you guys know we like to do house cleaning around here, and it only makes sense that we do it because why not? Obviously, you guys love it when I do house cleaning, so, we always do it. It's a staple around here. Why not? I do want to say thank you guys for coming back and listening to today's episode. It really does mean a lot to me, guys. Constantly take time out of your busy days to listen to these episodes, to share these episodes, to download them, to share them, to basically do whatever you want with them as long as it's not illegal. But I greatly do appreciate you guys. You guys are lovely. You guys are great. And I greatly appreciate you guys so much that you guys are willing to listen to me sometimes. And, well, I say listen, but you're also listening, you're watching because, well, we do a video version of this show and we do the audio version, but primarily the audio version because that's how we started off. So yeah, I thankfully, oof, man, I'm definitely losing it today. I'm just being honest. It's been a long day. It's definitely been a long day. I do want to say thank you guys thank you because you guys are great and you guys constantly put up with me, and I'm just being serious. You guys honestly put up with me. Today's definitely been a long day. If I'm being honest with you guys, today was a job fair here at school. This is my first job fair at the College of Business, and it went really well. I talked to at least 9 companies, and I was really happy with the impression that I left with them. And I know I'm going to be talking about it a little bit later on once we do the second day of the job fair, and then we have a little bit of an overview about it. But I do thank you guys for all the love and support. It really, really does mean a lot to me. For all the thoughts and prayers, I really appreciate it. Also, for everyone that's in Texas right now, my heart's with you. It's definitely cold, and some people don't have power, and so I hope you guys are staying warm and safe out there. I know over here I can literally look outside my window and I see snow, and a lot of it. Thankfully, I have power, so that's good. But I hope everyone is staying safe and staying warm out there. Please, guys. Please be safe. It's crazy out there. Don't drive if you don't have to. Please don't. It's not worth the risk. I also want to say thank you to the Patreon backers. You guys are great, and thank you for supporting the show. I greatly appreciate you guys. Obviously, you get to see these episodes early. And if you want to become a Patreon backer, you can click the nice little links down below, whether you're listening to the audio version or the video version. And I greatly appreciate you guys. But I do want to say thank you for everything. I really do. I mean it. From the bottom of my heart, I really do. But it is time that we get on with today's episode because, oh boy, this is a very interesting time to be in the PC space right now. The reason I say this is because we're talking about GPU prices and specifically what the heck is going on with the GPU market. I wouldn't say just the GPU market, it also affects the CPU market and other markets as well. However, I primarily want to touch on the CPU market, or the GPU market specifically. The CPU market also goes in tandem with this because, well, AMD makes CPUs and GPUs, but we'll get to that. Essentially, what is happening right now with the GPU market? Because right now, we are currently in this stage where cryptocurrency is on the rise, mining is becoming more popular because of the rise of cryptocurrency, and as expected, GPUs are out of stock everywhere and getting sold out in probably less than like 5 seconds flat. And that's a big problem because a lot of consumers aren't able to buy GPUs. And I know some people say, well, Josh, who cares? Gaming's a luxury thing on PC anyways. Like, okay, first off, no. Gaming is very accessible to everybody. However, GPUs are not just used for gaming, they're also used for production workflows. That's what they're also used for that. Why do you think NVIDIA has creation drivers and then gaming drivers? There's a reason, there's a difference. And I know some people say, well, you could just buy a Quadro. Well, bucko, that's easier said than done. Like, you're spending a lot of money either way. But what's happening? So essentially what's happening is, since the launch of the 3000 series, specifically the NVIDIA 3000 series and the AMD 6000 series, the GPUs have been sold out everywhere. This is primarily due to mining. Since cryptocurrency is now on the rise, Bitcoin is going up, Ethereum is going up, Dogecoin going up, Ethereum Classic going up, people are starting to mine a lot of crypto. And it turns out that the NVIDIA 3000 series graphics cards are really, really good at doing the job. And as a result, people caught wind of this, and miners just started buying them in bulk. There was an article a while back that I saw, probably like last month, that got posted talking about how this guy bought like almost 60 freaking 3080s. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is insane. But what is happening to GPU prices is, so let's take the 3070. The 3070 was advertised as $499 MSRP. It is currently being sold at maybe around $1,000. The 3080 MSRP is $699, currently around $1,500 right now. The 3090 starting at MSRP of, I think it was like $1,499 or $1,399. Yeah, it's probably closer to like over $2,000, maybe close to 3 G's easily. And now the 3060 coming. The 3060 was MSRP of like, I think it was, they said $329, around that range. And right now its MSRP, or right now its sale price, is going to be somewhere around maybe $500. And this doesn't just include the 3000 series cards. We're not just talking about those cards, because even other graphics cards like the 20 series coming back, people are selling used 20 series graphics cards for like $500, $600, $700. Like my 2060 Super, I can easily get like $600 out of it. 2070 Supers, people are looking at like $700 for used. Even things like the 1660 Ti, a very good entry level card, is going for at least $500 to $600. And I honestly don't know what to tell you at that point, because we're looking at some crazy numbers for this stuff. And it's crazy because people are like, well, crap, what am I supposed to do? Like, I want a new GPU, but I'm not trying to shell out money that basically, like, think about it like this. Buying a 2070 Super for $700 is a ripoff. Like, peak ripoff. Buying a 1660 Ti for like $500 to $600 is clearly a ripoff, because it's not worth that price. But people are able to get money for it because they know, since GPUs are short, hey, people are willing to pay anything. People are desperate. Like, there's people that have their GPUs die on them and they're like, well, I need a GPU and this is my only option. And for a lot of people, it's disheartening that that's the reality, because these GPU prices are going up like crazy. And it's because of this whole mining boom. And I know some people said, well, Josh, how does this affect the market? And it's like, well, yes, one major component of your PC build is currently being sold for ludicrous prices. So now the price for your build goes up drastically, because now maybe your PC was looking to be maybe around $1,500. You might need to just slap another $1,000 on there if you're lucky to get what you want. And it's just like, crap. And that's just saying the GPU. That's not including CPUs. That's not including power supply shortages. That's not including like stuff, other pieces of the puzzle that need to be there. But the main thing, the GPU, is currently at a crossroads where we're currently having issues with meeting demand, because NVIDIA and AMD clearly have not been able to meet demand. Heck, the 6000 series, you rarely see them. Like, it's really difficult. And granted, yes, when they were announced, a lot of people really liked them. They liked the value proposition that they offered with that much VRAM across the board, and obviously a little bit more power efficient than the 3000 series from AMD, or specifically the 3000 series from NVIDIA. Pardon. But it's one of those instances where you have to think about like, what the heck is going on? Like, what are we going to do? And I know a lot of people recommend like, hey, hold on to what you got right now. It's fine. Like, as long as it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like, if you're not really changing how you're playing your games, then there's not really a point to upgrade. And a lot of people have been saying that. It's very easy to say, hey, hold on to what you got right now. Don't worry about upgrading. You don't need it right now. But the reality is that's not an option for everybody. Like, there's people that, like I mentioned, have graphics cards that died on them, and they're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's gotten to the point where Nvidia themselves are re-releasing the 1050 Ti, a graphics card from 2016, or at least before that, like Pascal. Like, the thing that came, or I'd say the architecture that came before Turing, which Turing was a 20 series or the 2000 series, and Pascal was the 10 series or the 1000 series, which is the most beloved series because everyone loves the 1080 Ti. It's always been viewed as like the creme de la creme. It was always the running joke, is like, this is the best thing ever made. And they're bringing it back because they realize, hey, 4 gigabytes of VRAM at GDDR5 is not that good for, it's not really that good for mining. It's not the best. It's not even supposed to do that job. But they're just doing that just to meet the demand because Nvidia admitted that they cannot meet demand. And you have all these scalpers selling these GPUs at scalper prices, and it's just like, crap. Don't even get me started on like miners trying to sell GPUs too, because it's like, that's a whole different ballgame. Because it's like, the fact that we know that these GPUs are being used for mining crypto, it makes buying used very, very tricky, because 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to run into a GPU that's been used for mining, and that basically kills GPUs. Like, mining is notorious because that's what it does. It basically kills a GPU. Granted, these people spend all these money on, they drop all this fat cash on these GPUs because they know they're going to make their money back with no issue. But it's one of those instances where I understand why people are doing it. At least, like, I understand why people are saying that, yes, hey, at least it's cool that miners are at least buying them, because at least they're using them. They're not just scalpers using bots to just buy them up and then resell them for like double to triple the price. But it still doesn't mean that it's not shitty that people that just want to use them to go into a computer build or need an upgrade aren't able to, because people are buying them up to either do crypto mining or just be scalpers and resell them for like ludicrous prices. And it's one of those instances where I understand why people say, supply and demand. And I'm like, well, yes and no. This is not a good example of supply and demand. This is what you refer to as artificial supply and demand, where you are artificially creating a demand for a product because you basically bought all the supply. And it's just one of those instances where I think this is really crappy, where it's like, it's peak bull. Like, let's just be honest here. It's peak bull crap, because it's not fair. Like, it really isn't, that some people are able to use bots, buy up all these GPUs, and then just resell them for like 2 to 3 times the price. Granted, is anything new? No, this has happened multiple times. It happened with the 2000 series. Yes, it didn't happen to the severe extent, but it still happened. There were still shortages. But the fact that we're already into the new year and the shortages still haven't been resolved, or at least like improved, is disheartening. It's discouraging, because it's like, people really want these GPUs, and they were really exciting because of the MSRP. But this basically led people to realize, like, hey, the MSRP was bull. Like, they were just trying to do that to bait you. And if you were lucky enough to buy the graphics cards at their MSRP, then, congratulations, all hats off to you. But these cards are not going to go to their MSRP. They will not. Like, the 3070 is not going to be a $500 graphics card anymore. It's definitely going to go above that. 3080 is going to go way above that. 3090 is going to go above where it goes. 3060 definitely not going to hit MSRP. And the same thing goes for AMD, because AMD is not safe from this whole situation. I know, like, I've been ragging on Nvidia this whole time, but AMD, you're no better. Like, you don't get to just sit back and be like, well, at least he's not talking about me. I'm good, bud. Like, nah, sorry, bud. You're getting grilled in this part too, because you guys are doing piss poor. I would argue they're doing worse than Nvidia. At least Nvidia has been able to put some on the shelf. I haven't seen AMD putting any of these graphics cards on the shelf recently, or any news of them getting put on shelves. So Like AMD, you don't get a pat on the back. As much as I do like AMD for my CPU, which don't even get me started on AMD with the whole CPU situation, because good lord, they definitely need to improve that. Granted, I think they're doing better, because I saw Microsoft, or not Microsoft, but Micro Center's website, that they actually started posting listings for the 5000 series. So I'm like, hey, at least that's good. At least we're starting to get a semblance of stock. But it doesn't make things better, because the 6000 series, in terms of GPUs, the Radeon 6000 series are still out of stock. A lot of people really like the value that the 6800 offers. A lot of people like the 6800 XT. The 6900 XT, while still being $1,000, some people thought it was good value for the money. But the main competitors were obviously the 6800 and the 6800 XT. Those were the two graphics cards everyone was excited about because of how much VRAM and the price point they came in. But it's just, it's so bad given the whole market right now, because we currently live in a place where, yes, the market is not in a good spot right now. The market is currently in one of those dark ages because crypto is becoming king, and well, the bubble just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Some people think it won't pop. Some people think that the only way the GPU market's going to go back to normal is if we see a massive pop in crypto and the market just crashes. But how do I take all this situation? Personally, yes, I adopt the mentality that, hey, maybe holding on to what you got is a better idea right now. But I understand how for a lot of people that's not feasible. I do not recommend buying off scalpers. No, I'm just being honest. Don't buy off scalpers. Do not buy a used version of these graphics cards. It's not worth it. It's a terrible, terrible idea. You are setting yourself up for a recipe disaster, especially if the rumors are true that the 3000 series is going to get replaced pretty easily with a super refresh or something like that. And it's very, very disheartening that this is what things have come to. The fact that GPUs, one of the main components to building a PC, is now basically inaccessible. Like, I don't know what to tell you in that regard. The fact that one of the most important components of building a computer is not accessible. Like, let that sink in of how ridiculous that sounds. That the main component, or one of the main components to building your own computer, is currently unavailable unless you pay at least double to triple the price that it's supposed to be valued at. Because yes, these cards, when you're doing reviews of these graphics cards, you cannot go by MSRP anymore. Like, as a reviewer, you have to go by what they actually sell for. And the reality is, at the price that these graphics cards are being sold for, they're not worth it. They definitely do not provide the performance to value benchmark that makes sense to purchase them at these prices. Like, you literally look ridiculous buying a 3070 for $1,000 when a 3080 launched at much cheaper than that and it performs better. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, at this point, it's just like good God. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm baffled. I'm lost with words, because it stings seeing that this is the current state of the market, that things are rough. That's not cool. Like, I don't think that's cool. I think that companies like Nvidia and AMD need to find a way to step up production, because like I said, it's not cool the fact that a lot of people aren't able to buy these things. And granted, yes, I know a lot of people aren't buying the AMD graphics cards for mining because, well, they're not as good compared to the Nvidia cards for mining. Like, it's just true. The new architecture for Nvidia seems to work very well with mining, and it helps get good results because you're able to get a ton of coin from it. But it's one of those instances where it's just like, what can we do to make things better? And I feel like companies need to learn to invest in online resources to make things like this not happen again, because we rather have these GPUs in the hands of actual consumers, because then, hey, if you keep your customers happy, they'll keep coming back and buying your stuff, guys. Like it's common sense. Like, I don't think this should need to be explained, that how common sense this really is. But overall, do I think that the GPU market is probably doomed To some degree, yes, and some degree, no. I do believe over time, like if we see a downtrend, and I mean a heavy downtrend of crypto, then I think the GPU market will go back to normal. At least it'll have a new semblance of normal. But I feel like if things continue the way that they're going, I think things will need to be different, that people will need to consider other options. Like I know console's a good option right now, and I know some people say, ugh, console peasants, ugh, but it's just the reality. Like they provide good performance for the value, and they're going to be much easier to get in comparison to discrete GPUs because, well, Microsoft and Sony are able to get more stock in. But I hope this was helpful. I hope that it made things clear, at least to explain what is going on, because it's kind of annoying the fact that this is the world we live in, where getting a GPU is basically almost impossible, and getting the one you want for the price that it's supposed to be valued at is probably also impossible. But I thank you guys for everything. I thank you guys for your time. Thank you for being patient with me. I know that I've been very busy with the job fair. You can tell it in my eyes that I've been busy, but I definitely wanted to take time to talk to you guys and explain to you what's going on, because I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys are great. You guys are wonderful. Thank you guys for everything. I am so grateful. Please continue to be safe. Please continue to take everyone around you. Try to stay warm out there, guys. Don't do anything dumb. I love you guys to death. Please continue to be safe. And I will see you guys next week for sure. I know that tomorrow I'm going to be busy with the job fair, so I'm very excited for all of that. But I thank you guys for everything. You guys are great. Have yourselves a wonderful week, guys. Please be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you don't try to do anything too reckless. Like enjoy fun in the snow and stuff if you have snow. But if you're out with electricity, my thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family and your friends that don't have power right now, that you guys will be okay. You just have to wait it out. But try to be safe, try to stay warm, and do whatever you got to do. But until next time, guys, I love you guys to death, and I hope you guys have yourselves a wonderful week. Bye, guys.
Hey there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.